Alright, so I figured we'd go over and check out one of the streets I grew up on. I actually got beat up there and had a little bit of drama on that street. Figured I'd go over there and show that. But first, and talk about that. But first, we're gonna go have a late lunch. Did some work this morning and got a little tied up. So I figured I would go and have some late lunch at one of my favorite sandwich places. A lot of people think the Hill is where you go for sandwiches in St. Louis, and their sandwiches are good over there. There's a bunch of, the Hill is Italian neighborhood in St. Louis, and they have a bunch of Italian restaurants and stuff over there. Make sandwiches and all that. They're good. There's nothing wrong with them, but there's a lot outside of the Hill that I think are good or better, and I'm going to one now. It's called River to Perry Yacht Club. It's been around probably 4 or 5 years, and really got some good food there, good sandwiches, and they have I usually get the Steamboat Willie, which is like a roast beef with a bunch of cheese and stuff on it, or the River Raft, which is a open turkey sandwich on garlic bread with cheese layered over it. They call it the River Raft. They got a bunch of different names for the different sandwiches. They don't make them every day, but they make a real good twice baked potato. There's my O'Reilly's I go to all the time. I have an account with. And then he does, you know, he'll make, I guess the guy used to be a chef. Now he owns his own place. And they do like sandwiches during the day, and then evening they have like a bar there. I guess the bar is open during the day too. I don't know. The bar is kind of relatively new. But if you're in St. Louis, you want a good sandwich, check out River to Perry Yacht Club. I also think Kendrick Meat, which is right outside of the city but still considered St. Louis, they have some of the best bacon I've ever tasted in my life. Kendrick Meat, I get the Turkey Club there. Then you got Blue City Deli, yeah, Blue City Deli, which is really good. A lot of that's in Soulard. That place will be wrapped around the building during lunch. Mom's Deli, which is kind of not too far from where I grew up, a little bit more in the swankier neighborhood. It's been there forever though. They got a lot of good sandwiches. She puts out a pretty good business there. So, I mean, there's other options out there besides the Hill if you're looking for places to go in St. Louis to get a sandwich. So I'm going to head over there and probably going to get the turkey today. Turkey for a turkey. And get something to eat, and then we'll head on over to where I got beat up at, where I used to hang out. I actually learned how to ride a bike there on that street that I got beat up on. And kind of talk about that a little bit, and then I gotta go pick up my daughter from school and all that fun stuff afterwards. She likes it when I pick her up on the motorcycle. I don't know which one she likes more, the Goldwing or the VTX. The Goldwing I don't put in the garage every night because it's just a big pain. I usually put a car cover or a cover over it if it rains or whatever. But it's just easier. Got an oversized, got a pretty big garage, but it's only got one door, and then my truck's in the way, or if I'm working on a car or whatever. So it's easier just to leave the Goldwing outside unless I know it's going to rain for a week straight or something. Took it out yesterday. Went for a pretty decent ride on it, and almost felt like it was a mistake. It was so windy out that it wasn't really even enjoyable. I don't know what it is. It seems like St. Louis is just getting windier and windier every year. And this weekend was horrible. It seems like the last 5 or 6 years St. Louis has gotten a lot windier. And maybe I'm just paying more attention to it, I don't know. But Saturday was almost tornado all day long, it seemed like. And then they said it was going to be a little calmer yesterday, and it was still probably 15, 20 mile per hour winds, gust. We were on the highway, and it just wasn't that enjoyable. Getting around a big truck or whatever and getting blown all over the place. So I'm almost there. I'll show the outside of it and maybe show you the sandwich and stuff. I guess it's not a super fancy place. Some people might call it a hole in the wall. To me, it's just a normal, like a lot of small business in St. Louis. It's an older building, and they repurpose it and make money out of there. Our pizza place, well, pretty much all the pizza chains that we own are all old buildings except for the one. Well, two. Man, they still got this closed. So annoying. Alright, well, I'll go around it. It's just... What are they doing? Accidentally in neutral there. I thought I was in first. We're gonna go around this real quick, and then I'll pick it back up. Alright, so we went around the detour there. We're back on Marceau, or Alabama, I guess. This is Alabama. This got flooded out pretty good a while back. It used to be a KFC and a bunch of stuff on that corner over there, and it got flooded out real bad. Road repair, and they just pretty much bulldozed all of it. Monsanto's kind of taking over that whole corner there. Monsanto's got a big factory there. And this is what I was talking about with St. Louis roads. So there's Mike's Machine Shop. Go there all the time. And here is the Road Repair Yacht Club right here. So I'm going to turn around and find a parking spot, and then we'll go in. So here we are at the famous Road Repair Yacht Club. It's got a fake, or well, I guess it's a real boat out here in the front. And the bar, I believe, is back there. Alright, so I just got done eating the turkey river raft. They got a ham river raft and a turkey river raft. It's basically garlic cheese bread with a crap ton of either turkey or ham, and then a whole bunch of cheese on top of it. I took some pictures of it. I'll put them up here while I talk. I didn't want to take a video while I was in there. I go in there all the time, and it's mostly women that run it, and I don't want to seem like some kind of creep. So, I mean, I am a creep, but I don't want to look like a creep. You know, I'm trying to keep on the low down. But it was good as always. And gonna head over to the first house that I really remember that we lived in. Or actually it was like a flat, and I don't know exactly which address it is. I was probably 3 years old maybe when they moved there. I believe they lived on Cleveland for a little bit and then moved to Juniata or Juanita, however you want to say it, when I was still pretty young, before I was going to school. And that's where I learned how to ride a bike and kind of remember some things from you know, the earliest memories I have. And from what I remember, and I actually verified this story with my mom, well, the first time I ever got injured was on that street. My dad put training wheels on my bike, and I guess he didn't tighten them up or something, and one of them fell off, and I ended up in the emergency room, got a bunch of stitches in my leg, and did not like that at all. Gingers, they say gingers have a high tolerance of pain, which I believe, because it's very hard to put me under. The few times I've had surgeries where they put me under, it was real hard for them to do it. One time I thought I was going to die because I couldn't breathe. I was still awake, but I guess I was supposed to be under. They didn't give me enough. And in general, I just have a higher tolerance of pain, I think, than most people. Just through judging from like the injuries I've gotten, and I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, but I definitely have a high tolerance of pain. But anyway, at that time I did not have a high. I don't even think it hurt. I was just upset that my leg was gashed open, and they had to have my mom leave the room and sew me up because I was throwing such a fit. I believe I was probably like 3 or 4 when that happened, and wasn't real happy about that. I think we all blame my dad for that for a while, leaving the loose like that. But when I actually did learn how to ride a bike, probably a year later or so, my mom was kind of running alongside me going up the street, and she had stopped and was talking to somebody on top of the street. And I remember I just got tired of waiting and took off down the hill or down the street without her, and just kind of learned on my own, basically, just because I didn't have patience to wait. So that's learned how to ride a bike on that street, and did a little show and tell with this girl on the side of the house one time. And this might be what caused me to get beat up. I can't remember. I know I did a little show and tell, and then I didn't think it was that big of a deal, and evidently her parents thought it was a big deal, and they contacted my mom. I got in much trouble for that. And then I had a beef with some of the older kids at the end of the block, and I don't know if it was her brother. I don't remember. It was 2 older kids. They were like twice my size. They were probably 10, 11, 12 years old. At the time I was like 5 or 6, and I was on the big wheel. And somehow they pissed me off, or I had some kind of beef with them. And I came out one day, and all their bikes were at the end of the block on kickstands. And I took my big wheel down there at full speed and kind of slid into the bikes, kind of sacrificed my big wheel and my body, and knocked a bunch of them over. And then the ones that weren't knocked over, I got up off the big wheel and knocked those over. And like I said, I was 5 or 6 at the time. So anyway, and I don't remember exactly why we were fighting, but I did that. Even at that age, I knew there was going to be consequences to pay for that, and that it wasn't just going to go without any kind of consequence. So I put a little air in my air shack in the back. So I kind of avoided the bigger kids for a few weeks, and then I let my guard down. And believe it or not, when you're that age, 5 or 6 back then in the city, you could go out without your parents' supervision. And I let my guard down because I used to go to this little corner store. It's actually still there. It's not called the same thing. It's probably been through several owners since the time that I lived there. But let my guard down, and he caught me in the alley. And he took me behind this, one of them did. He took me behind this apartment building and punched me in the stomach about 3 or 4 times. Good enough to where I could, I was having a hard time breathing and stuff for a little bit. And then that was it. That was, there was no more trouble after that. So I learned my lesson, Like I said, even at that age, I knew there was going to be some kind of repercussion for my actions. And I was fine with it. I wasn't happy I got caught, but that was back. Now they would call that bullying, and the kid would be going through courses to learn how to be more sensitive. Or it could be really advertised as a hate crime because I am a ginger, and we're actually probably one of the smallest minorities out there. I'm a ginger with red hair and blue eyes, so honestly, he probably could be charged with a hate crime at this point. So we're going to head over that way and take a look at the old flat, try to find the old flat. I'm sure, I don't know, I probably won't be able to find the exact one. But that's where I remember some of my earliest memories there. At the time I was there, we went there before I went to kindergarten, but then when I finally went to school, went to St. John's at Grand and Morgan Ford, Chippewa. And I hated school bad. I didn't like it at all. And then I got in trouble. Kindergarten, I got in trouble because they were learning the alphabet, and I already knew it for some reason. Either my mom taught me or I learned it on a cartoon or something. And I told her that I already knew it, and she basically didn't believe me. She wouldn't even let me prove to her that I knew it because I was going to, recite it for her, the alphabet. And I don't remember what she did, but I got in trouble and was told basically to shut up for trying to show up to the other kids. I wasn't trying to show up to the other kids. I was in kindergarten. I didn't know any better. I just knew that I knew the alphabet. and she didn't believe me. And you think that she would let me prove it, but she didn't. So I was jaded. I think she's just picking on me probably because I had red hair. That's always my excuse for everything. No, it was fine. Back then you had corporal punishment though. Me and one of my friends got in trouble in first grade. I don't even remember what we were doing. And they took us to the 8th grade class, me and my friend, put us in front of the class and paddled us right in front of the 8th grade class. And that was, and then, then I got 3rd grade. I went to a different school. By this time we moved to Parkwood. And I was going to Warner for a little bit before I switched over to Messiah. And I actually got switched by the principal at Warner School. Took a switch to me in 3rd grade. I got in a fight with somebody in the classroom. We got in a little mini brawl, and he actually switched me in front of the classroom. I don't even think he called my mom or anything, but I got the switch that day. And then once we got into the other school, I was in trouble here and there, but I got suspended twice in high school for different things, but mostly fighting. But grade school, I did get my head. Me and my buddy were in choir, and we were messing around at 7th or 8th grade, and we were kind of just messing around, wasn't paying attention. And the teacher came up and banged our heads together and told us to get, to pay attention, which at the time hurt. But yeah, so I had an interesting school career. It was fun. Pushing everybody's buttons, I guess. It was actually kind of quiet, but I always had kind of a streak in me. I didn't really count. One of those people that when I was in school, I counted the clock until I got older. Once I got out of school and then went back for automotive and actually truck driving and stuff, I excelled and was really interested in it and did really well in those classes. But it wasn't until I was well out of school that I decided that I actually kind of liked it. I hated every second of. And then when I went to South County Tech and they had a tool room, and I was in trouble for something else. Got stuck in the tool room. Whenever you get stuck in the tool room, it's because you got in trouble for something or you're getting penalized. And then one of the kids came up and threw oil in the tool room while me and the other guy were in there. And oil went all over, our uniforms and all over the place. We had to clean up the oil. Plus, he got oil on the teacher's car. The teacher had a Corvette Stingray. And of course, he comes down right after this happens and sees the oil all over the car. And I get into much trouble for that. And then we're in the science. I only had maybe 2 classes that weren't automotive related at the tech high school. So we were in science class, and that same kid that threw the stuff at me was in there, and he was talking shit again. And I ended up getting up out of science. The science teacher was gone. She went out of the room for a little bit, and I picked him up in his chair and threw him on the ground. And right when he hit the ground, the teacher came back and saw it, and of course she's telling me, she looks like total fear in her eyes because I just threw him on the ground. I guess he thought I was going nuts, and I was probably in high school. I think I was 6'3" or 6'4", like 220, so I was kind of a big guy. And she had like this look of fear in her eyes, and she ran around her desk and told me to go to the principal immediately. So I went to the principal's office and got suspended for 3 days for that. And what's funny about that is I saw that guy. He works at Napa now, and I see him every once in a while at some of the different. I think he floats around the Napas, and I see him. I've never said anything to him. I don't know if he remembers me or not. He probably does, since he's probably only been picked up and thrown at his desk one time in his life. But he's a little shit disturber. That was the thing. Everybody thinks if you're a big guy, people will leave you alone. But that's actually not true. In high school, I was tested quite a bit because I was a big guy, I think. And I had this one guy when I was going to Lutheran South, my freshman or sophomore year. And, you know, you can go into a Lutheran private school, there's no fighting, no nothing. They didn't tolerate that kind of crap. And this guy sat behind me. We had science and gym class, and it was right after each other. One right science first and then gym class. And this guy kept, you know, he would, you know, be behind me and do stupid stuff, pull my hair, or try to do whatever. And one time I had a St. Louis Cardinals jersey on or something like that. It was a nice jersey. It was white. And this dipshit took a blue pin and wrote all over the back of my back. And I didn't think he really did it. I just felt the pin. I thought, oh, he's just using the cap or whatever. No, he really did it. So when we got changed for gym class, I saw that and I'm like, this dude's out of control. And then we had, I remember we had baseball and I was at the bat and he was heckling me while I'm at the bat. And I'm like, at that moment, I probably would have let the shirt go, even though I was pretty mad. But it was like a culmination of things. And at that moment, I had decided when we get back to the locker room, I'm going to tune this guy up big time. And he wasn't a small guy. It wasn't like I was picking on a little guy either. But he was probably almost as tall as me, but didn't have the muscle and the weight. So he's heckling me, and I'm like, you son of a bitch, I can't wait till we get back to the whole time. I'm like, when I get back there, you are going to get it big time, man. And we're on the street now. This is Juniata. We were about halfway down. Actually, it might be on the next street. Next block down. None of this looks familiar. Anyway, I was sitting there the whole time like, this dude, man, I'm steaming, but at this point, you know, you write on my shirt, my jersey, and then you're going to heckle me while I'm up at bat. You're getting it, dude. So we're walking back, and I think he was heckling me while we're walking back to he was talking crap when we were walking back to the locker room. I was like, that's fine. And we get back to the locker room, and I basically picked him up by the throat and shoved him against the lockers and was choking him out as hard as I could. And all the kids got around this and kind of blocked the teacher from seeing it. And they were cheering it and everything. And I believe it's one of these. It's one of these flats here. Might be down here. Yeah, it's one of these. I almost want to say it's that one. But I thought, pretty sure, yeah, I think it's that one. Or the dumpsters in front of it. Because we had neighbors, my mom's friend moved into this one, I'm pretty sure. So I think it was that one. We live on the bottom floor here. And the kids that beat me up live down on the very end. So that's the first house I remember. I'm almost positive that's it. If it ain't that, then it might be that one, and then this one. I think it was up there though. And they lived in these apartments here. And their bikes were right there in this corner. And if you go right, there's that little store right there. The little convenience store that was there when I was growing up. It's something else now. I mean, it's a convenience store still, but I know it's not the same owners. This person's stopping at it. I guess they do have a stop sign. So I got beat up back here. I was walking through the alley, and he cornered me right back here. Right there is where I got beat up the first time. Well, yeah. I was about 5 years old. Got it right there. I was walking down from up there and he got me. So anyway, back to the high school story. I throttled him out pretty good. Choked him out real bad. And I think I actually hit him a few times. And he didn't respond or like fight back. So I let him go, and the coach came around the corner, and all the kids were bunched up, blocking us, so he didn't know who was involved or what was involved. and just told us to knock it off. So I actually didn't get in trouble for that. And then later on, one of my friends who kept getting me in trouble at the time, he was actually lived down the street from me, and he's actually spent time in prison since then. I got in trouble. He did something we were always together, and he did something in the lunchroom, and I wasn't even there, and I got blamed because I was his friend and we were always together. Got called to the office, got in a bunch of trouble, had to stay after school a couple days and write some crap, and I ended up tuning him up in the bathroom one time. Right after that, we both went I followed him into the bathroom and I tuned his ass up in there for getting me in trouble. And then he actually got me arrested later in the neighborhood for some silly stuff. So we were kind of like a bad combination. I liked him as a friend. We'd ride this bi-state bus here, and we got kicked off the bi-state bus one time. We both went to Lutheran South. We actually went to Warner together, and I kind of knew him from the neighborhood, and then I didn't see him for several years, and went to the Lutheran South together, and we started hanging out. We would ride these buses to school, and one time all in one day, he was throwing firecrackers at dogs while we were walking down the alley to the bus. I didn't have them, but of course I got blamed for it, and he threw a firecracker at a police dog. The cop lived there and saw him throw the firecracker, and of course I got blamed for that, so my mom got a visit from him. And then that same day, he was taking the firecrackers and throwing them off the bi-state bus here and hitting cars that were driving by. And the bus driver, first couple of times, he kind of got away with it. The bus driver knew something was going on but couldn't figure it out. And then he finally figured it out. And we had probably a 4 or 5 mile ride to the school from where we lived. And he ended up stopping the bus and kicking us off. I think he banned us, so we couldn't ride the bi-state for a while until they changed drivers, and we got kicked off. I had to walk like 2.5 miles to school because of him, which, you know, that's not that far, but anyway, you don't want to walk to school 2.5 miles in the morning. I've never been a morning person, so I ended up seeing him later on after we were out of school. And his dad was real abusive to him. Tied him up on the basement one time over the rafters and beat him with a switch or a belt or something. But he tied his hands up just did some real sadistic stuff. And anyway, I ended up changing schools and kind of lost touch with him. And then I saw him several years later, probably in my 20s, and he told me he just got out of prison. And I believed him. So, I mean, I had quite a few other friends besides him, but he was kind of my school buddy back in the earliest high school days. And we always managed to get in a lot of trouble. He locked me out of my own bathroom one time. I took a steak knife, and he had his foot blocking the door so I couldn't get in. I stabbed his toe with it, stuff like that. We just did crazy stuff to each other, and eventually the cops got involved. One time I beat him up on the street because I can't remember what he was doing, but and then his shoe somehow fell off and we threw his shoe. So his dad called the police and said that we stole his property. And I got in a bunch of trouble for that. It was ridiculous. Receiving stolen property. I received a shoe that fell off when he got his ass beat. And then his dad started egging our house at night. He egged it like 2 or 3 weekends in a row, and then we were going to stake it out one night. Because he'd always do it on a Friday or Saturday. I had a bunch of friends, and we were all staked out throughout the block, waiting for him to come down the block. He didn't come down the block. And so he basically got away with it. And then being the punk that I was at the time, I took my car when he was at work and caved in his garage door. I had those big chrome steel bumpers. I don't remember which car I had, but they had the big chrome bumpers, and I just went over to his house and caved his garage door in. for egging our house like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, which I know is excessive payback. But his son also ripped my vinyl top, took a knife and cut my vinyl top. So it was just a bad combination, a lot of back and forth stuff going on back then with them, and it wasn't any good. It was good that, I guess it was a good thing in hindsight that I switched schools and got away from them. So that's Juniata Street. That's where I grew up, where I first got beat up, and had some good times there. Had a lot of kids. There was a lot of kids on that block too. Got my first little girlfriend there. Her name, I won't say her name, but what's freaky about that is we used to kiss on the bus and stuff, and we used to kiss quite a lot. Of course, for 5 or 6, whatever, kindergarten. And she actually came into the place I owned like 3 or 4 years ago, so I hadn't seen her in years and years and years. And she recognized me. She's like, "Are you Brian?" And blah blah blah. And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, you remember me?" And she talking about it. I was like, "Holy cow!" I would have never known who it was. You know, everybody changes so much, the way they look. Jeez. I tell you what, I stopped coming to St. Louis City. It just tears your. I mean, it's just the bumps are outrageous. They don't maintain anything. I mean, I don't know how I haven't gotten a flat just by all these bumps. But anyway, I guess that's it. So that's my story. And if you're in St. Louis and you want a good sandwich, don't just go to the Hill. Check out Kenrick Meat. That's a really good sandwich. You can check out Blue City Deli, River Carol Yacht Club, Mom's Deli. Those are some of the ones on top of my head that are good. There's plenty of other ones, but if you want more of a corporate place, Snarf's is pretty good. It's kind of like, I don't know how corporate it is, but they have some locations, and they have some different things like a eggplant Parmesan sandwich and honey banana peanut butter sandwich. They got different kind of like off the wall stuff that you can get there. It's pretty good. It's called Snarf's. The one I go to is over by Forest Park. I ride my bicycle through there and I'll stop in and get something from them. There's one on Grand too. There might be more, I don't know. It almost looks like it's kind of corporate, so it might be several locations, I'm not sure. But anyway, I guess that's it. Get off here and go pick up my daughter from school. I got about, that's what I'm talking. I can't even. Unbelievable, man. If I wasn't on YouTube, I'd be cussing right now. Anyway, look at this. It's like landmines. I'm gonna go pick her up and finish out my day. So thanks for watching, and as always, God bless.